Hello, and welcome to Series 2 of the videos that we are producing to help B2B SaaS marketers to get the most value of the CRM data that they have on their hands. The reason why we are creating this next series of videos is that we would like to continue sharing the expertise and the experience that we had from working with the multiple SaaS marketing teams, where we saw how CRM data can be actually useful, can add a ton of value to what you do as a marketing team to maximize the sales and drive more revenue and drive growth. And CRM data is something which is extremely valuable if you know how to use it, when to apply it, and how to utilize all the insights that you can get from there to make better marketing decisions. So the first video that I will be sharing with you is dedicated to analyzing the leads origin. It's not about just analyzing the sources that bring you leads. It's going a little bit deeper into the metrics that your CRM has in order to get the most value of the leads origin and leads behavior data. Today, I'm going to share 3 ways to analyze your leads data to make sure that you have a broader outlook on how exactly your CRM data can help you make better marketing decisions. If you are a SaaS marketer, if you are within the SaaS marketing team, or even if you are within the sales team, because you guys, both from sales and both from the marketing perspective, are actually looking at the same set of data in your CRM typically. The concept number 1 to analyze is to take a look at which content actually converts. And by here, I mean that you can look into a few metrics to make sure that you have a specific understanding of which content on your website, in your email marketing, or elsewhere, the moment you have the tracking in place, actually drives your SQL, drives your value, drives something that you can use as the data source for making better decisions. So let me give you a few metrics that we typically look at, and with some probably practical examples, how exactly you can see which content works and which decisions you can potentially make out of it. The first metric, or like the first asset to analyze, is the landing pages. Yeah, it can sound like really basic, but the landing page is the first page that a visitor sees on your website, and that's how you welcome them. This is how they start the user journey on your website. And even from looking at the various landing pages where they entered the website can give you a ton of insights on how they behaved after and what happened next. Between the landing page and the converting page, you can also have different interaction points, but one of the most important things to actually take a look at is where their journey started. So where they landed on your website and where their journey actually ended. What was the converting page? Typically, for B2B IT companies, that would be the homepage and then the contact us page, with a few indications of going to services pages. With SaaS, depending on how you build your traffic sources, depending on how you build your marketing campaigns, you might have a lot of pages in between. Therefore, it is extremely important to see which pages, for example, features page, or where the pricing page was in the user journey. And specifically, if you had a returning visitor, what would be their exit page? So all the chain of interactions with your content is extremely important to see from the perspective of being effective for you. Why you need to analyze all of that? The main goal is to find important content. This is not just the landing pages, exit pages, or converting pages. This is the content that typically drives sales, not just lead, sales. If you look at the content and how people interact with your content, you will definitely have some insights. If you connect that with the later stages of the sales cycle, this is where you get the most value. Because when you have enough data to analyze, you might want to come up with a pattern, and you will definitely see that certain pages or the certain pattern converts better. And in that pattern, you will typically see a few pages that pop up here and there. They are repetitive. So basically you will find your important content. And this is the content that you would like to promote more. This is the content you would like people to see more, to add more to the user journey, inform your sales team about it, and make sure that all the insights that you've got out of analyzing the content on your website and the way people interact with them is actually connected with the sales statuses. This is how you can see which content drives you not feeds, which content drives your SQLs, which content actually converts into deals. Another concept that we would like to talk about today is analyzing direct and assisted conversions. A direct conversion typically happens when somebody comes from just one source, for example, paid ad, and immediately becomes a lead. This is a direct conversion. An assisted conversion will happen if somebody discovered you through your paid advertising, then returned through an organic source, then hit your website from the direct type in. So this is where things become a little bit complicated, especially for quite noisy and quite busy SaaS marketing space. And again, without going deep into the woods, into attribution, because that's a completely different concept, what I would like to talk today is the funnel. The multi-channel funnel, as simple as that, where you analyze the touch points as they happen and only then make some decisions in terms of like where to invest more. The analysis itself can be a little bit convoluted and complicated unless you have your SaaS CRM integrated with a tool like Google Analytics. Of course, most of the CRM solutions out there in the market have their own web analytics integrations and attributions. However, we highly recommend to add another layer of data on top of that by integrating your CRM with Google Analytics or a similar tool. We use Google Analytics in most of the cases. Why do we do that? We enrich the default CRM web analytics data with some data that we have from GA, from Google Analytics. We do not typically combine those two. Rather, we see which insights and which value we can get out of every tool that we use. Let me give you a specific example. By default, in Salesforce, the attribution will be first interaction. So this is where Salesforce records the source. That's going to be like the first touch point that a user had with you, and then you are stuck with that. By default, Google Analytics will give you last non-direct interaction. So typically, the conversion will be attributed to the source, which wasn't the last direct hit. To simplify all of that, what you can look at, you can look again, not just at the conversion, the leads and channels performance data, but review it in the connection with the data that you later have in your sales cycle. So why you need to kind of look a little bit deeper, like not just like where you got your MQL or SQL. The reason why you might want to actually go to your sales team or dig deeper into your kind of sales section of the CRM is to see the touch points. And we will talk about it just in just a moment. And you might also want to see how many channels overall people used before they became a lead, what actually drives your MQL, the channels interaction, what actually pushes people further down the road to SQLs and down in the sales cycle stages, connected to the sources they actually used. Without going again into like attribution wars or making any quick decisions on whether to invest more in paid ads, what you would like to see is a slightly broader, more generic outlook on the channels and what mix you actually have. And again, we are looking for patterns. And if we see that the organic conversions are a huge pattern in step number 2, 4, or X in your user journey, that's a perfect insight. If you see that the paid ads are like a perfect channel to open up the conversation with your prospects, but then you need another X touch points, then it's another thing that you might want to consider. But again, don't stick with attribution too much. The main idea of this analysis is to enrich your default CRM data with Google Analytics sources and to look into the assisted conversions in the multi-channel funnels there. Thus, you will be able to enrich your marketing data with some insights of the repetitiveness of certain channels. of the touch points or the length of the funnel requires before people convert. And then you can associate it with what happens later within your organization, within your CRM. And another important concept to think about when you analyze SaaS marketing and sales interaction and overall user journey is the amount of touch points required to actually win a deal. The B2B SaaS is one of the most complicated complicated industries in this sense, because on average, the first touch point to demo, the length of the touch points is 3. Then from the first touch, to opportunity created, it's 8. And from the first touch to deal won, it's 34. There is a really interesting study on that. I'll share a link in the comments, but can you imagine the 34 touch points? You can, this is long. And the more expensive your software is, usually the lengthier is the sales cycle. And this is how it's mind-blowing to have 34 and touch points and up to actually win a deal. Therefore, it is extremely important to see which touches work better. And by better, I mean the less amount of touch points which is required to actually win a deal. You can start looking into not just the content performance, but also the multi-channel or omni-channel touch points that you typically have with your prospect to see which emails, outreach, any events, content, and everything, how it works together. And again, find the repetitive patterns, whether certain email shortens your sales cycle, whether certain salespeople or like interaction with the certain members of the sales team gives you better results. Again, when you use the CRM data to actually drive insights for your marketing campaigns, for your sales interaction, it is extremely important to look at the repetitiveness. It's extremely important to find the patterns. They're not quite obvious, but there will be some really strong associations with the certain keywords used in the paid ads, with the certain landing pages, with the amount of times people interacted with your pricing page, or how long it took them to request a demo from you. Time factor is also really important. So the reason why those touch points analysis is very important is because this is where you get insights for leads scoring, and this is how you structure your audiences better. Again, depending on the amount of data that you have in your business overall, you might want to see how the scoring and how the audience's buckets work together. And of course, it also depends on the CRM that you're using. But the general concept behind it is to look at the quickest way to win deals, or at least move people through their user journey quicker than your average amount of touch points required to actually win a deal. Hope this all makes sense. Thanks for watching, and see you around. Thank you.